Hi guys, it's Nikki with Nikki Speaks, and I am back with another video. But before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications. All right, guys, so it looks like Cardi B cannot catch a break for anything, okay? So she is having one of the best album runs for female rappers since, well, really her last album, Invasion of Privacy. Her album did really well. Now she's on tour and her tour is doing really well. But listen, when things are going good, there's always something bad that's thrown into the mix. And here enters TMZ. So, TMZ is reporting exclusively that Cardi B allegedly went berserk at her SNL rehearsal over a weekend update Nicki Minaj joke. If you guys recall, about a month ago, Cardi B was the guest performer on SNL where she performed, I think it was Airtime and Bongos. And so, listen, TMZ is reporting exclusively that they have sources that said, listen, it didn't go as smooth as we think. So, this is what they have to say. So, the TMZ article reads Cardi B made Saturday Night Live's 1000th episode One to Remember, allegedly for all the wrong reasons. According to our sources, Cardi started destroying equipment during rehearsal when she overheard the weekend update anchors run a joke about Nicki Minaj. We're told as Cardi was preparing to perform as a musical guest on January 31st on the January 31st show, the weekend update anchors were running their jokes ahead of dress rehearsal. Our sources say Cardi apparently overheard one about Nicki's recent affiliation with MAGA and lost it. We're told even though the joke had nothing to do with Cardi, the Bodak Yellow rapper seemed to take issue with the quip because of her long-standing beef with Nicki Minaj and the fact that Nicki had previously targeted Cardi's kids on social media. The article also goes on to say our sources say things escalated quickly, with Cardi threatening to leave the show and allegedly throwing her phone at a TV monitor backstage. We're also told she went into the producer's office and punched a screen until it broke. Sources say the screen had to be replaced before the dress rehearsal started, and it left everyone on set unsettled and scared. So, according to TMZ and their source, the joke ultimately got scrapped, but they did reach out to Cardi B and SNL, and so far, neither have responded back. So, listen, this, if it's true, is crazy. Okay. So, I will start by saying this. Cardi B hasn't been known to punch things repeatedly in a tirade. That's not what she's known for. Now, is she known as a crash out who yells at the top of her lungs for no reason? Yes, she is. And unfortunately, because she does that and she does it so publicly, a lot of people will take this story, even though the sources are not revealed, there is no proof, there's only TMZ running this story. They'll take this and run with it as though, yes, it is true and it did happen. And I can see it happening because I've sat and watched her for 2 to 3 hours on end, yelling at the top of her lungs over nonsense on live. That's the unfortunate part of this. She doesn't have the best track record when it comes to restraint and her emotional control. So that's just my take on the situation. You know, when it comes to do I think that she's capable of this? Absolutely. I'm always one for saying you don't have to respond to everything, but this is actually an allegation or a story that I would absolutely come out and debunk if it did not happen. I would absolutely have my reps, my team, I would have them respond to TMZ, or I would have them come out and make a statement debunking this immediately. And the reason why is because there is no coincidence that this story is running right now. There's no coincidence that it's running right now when she's at the top of her game. That's just my opinion. You know, there's no coincidence that not even 5 minutes after TMZ posted this, the Trump administration, their advisor and Nicki Minaj's close friend, Alex, came out and tweeted this. This is why people are starting to call her Crash Out Cardi. Listen, that's no coincidence at all. So, listen, my take on the situation is it could have absolutely happened. I'm not going to pretend like it couldn't have happened. A lot of people are not going to be happy with that stance, but, I feel like it could have happened. And if it did not happen, this is the perfect time to come out and debunk it immediately. Have your team debunk it really professionally. You don't have to come out and start going off or tweeting online. Have your team debunk this immediately. And if part of this is true, but not all of it is true, then I think still putting together a nice statement from your team, not directly from you, would probably be the best way to go here. Because on the flip side of this, I'll be honest, I think that there is absolutely some truth to some of this. All of it may not be true. For instance, there may have been a blow up in terms of yelling and screaming where Cardi did overhear a joke that they were going to do about Nicki Minaj and her newfound MAGA status. And she blew up and she started screaming at the top of her lungs. That's what we know Cardi to do. Maybe the part about her going berserk and throwing things and punching something to the point of it breaking, maybe that part wasn't true because that does seem somewhat out of character for Cardi. Maybe that part wasn't true. Maybe that's the part that has been exaggerated. Maybe none of it is true. Again, I think the problem that lies here is the fact that Cardi does not have the best track record in terms of the way that she responds to chaos, the way that she responds to her anger, the way that she responds to conflict. She doesn't have the best track record, okay? She was at a courthouse where she threw a pen at someone outside of the courthouse where she was pretty much in a civil lawsuit for being physical with someone. So, listen, the track record is going against her. So, listen, I would definitely debunk this using my team. And then going forward, I just really hope that she finds a better way to express herself when she's in situations that may feel uncomfortable, where she may feel cornered, where she may feel angry, where she may feel that there is conflict. I hope she finds a better way outside of blowing up in anger and screaming to start addressing those problems. Because as you can see here, the Trump administration, MAGA, and everybody that Nicki Minaj has partnered with, they are not going to lay off of her. Every single thing that she does now is going to be scrutinized and then magnified by that side. And so it's now going to have even more eyes on it. So that's my take on the situation. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section. Do you think that this article by TMZ was exaggerated? Do you think it's all lies? There is no source and they're just being used by the other side to try to paint Cardi in a negative light since she's winning right now? Or do you think that there is some truth to this? And if you do think that there is truth to this, let me know your thoughts on that end. That's all I have for you guys on this topic. I'll talk to you guys on the next video.